Season 87 was to be a season of change, a time when modern football history would be made. The flag waving of the 1986 Grand Final had barely subsided when an expanded VFL competition was to become reality, and players, administrators and fans were forced to face the fact that football would never be the same. There would still be spectacular marks, freakish goals would still be kicked, tempers would still get frayed, coaches frustrated. But now, in 1987, supporters would crowd through the gates at Carrara, sit in the wet in the west, and the Sydney Cricket Ground would remain the home of footy in Sydney. On that last Saturday of September of '86, Hawthorn won its second premiership under coach Alan Jeans, capping off a magnificent year that saw the Hawks claim a Brownlow medal, with Robert Pierdomenico being the first Hawthorn player to be awarded the coveted trophy. The first of the new teams to expand the horizons of the VFL was to be the West Coast Eagles, to operate out of Perth. And it was expected the Eagles would be immediately competitive with the wealth of football talent available in Western Australia. The expansion moved north with a licence granted to Queensland, and the Brisbane Bears were born after a lengthy and fairly troublesome period that eventually saw the Bears make their 1987 home on Queensland's Gold Coast. The new season would produce 3 new coaches. The legendary Darryl Baldock would return to take control of struggling St Kilda. Former Fitzroy captain Ron Alexander would guide the West Coast Eagles through their formative stages, and Peter Knights, who played 267 games for Hawthorn, was to become mentor to the newly formed Brisbane Bears. With 2 new sides, could Hawthorn make it back-to-back flags? Can the Blues come back from their grand final devastation? Will the Demons continue to improve? Are the Bombers finished as a final force? Collingwood for the 5? Can the Saints fight their way from the bottom of the ladder? These are the questions that will be answered as we look back at season 87, the season of change.
On Friday night, March 27th, the season got underway with the lights of the MCG casting the spotlight on the debut of the Brisbane Bears against North Melbourne. The Bears were tipped to win very few games in their first season, but surprised everyone south of the Queensland border when they convincingly defeated North Melbourne by a healthy 33-point margin. On the Saturday, the Sydney Swans carried the flag for the interstate teams when Warwick Kappa kicked 9 goals to help demolish Collingwood. At Princes Park, the 1986 grand finalists met in a return bout, with Carlton seeking revenge for their grand final humiliation. Hawthorn showed that their premiership form had not deserted them with a 7-goal victory.
And the 2 Blondes are having it off behind the play. Glatton, he of the curly locks, towards centre-half forward. His target, Dunstall! What a great mark! Over the back of the pack, Carlton need runners. Silvani is one of them. Paddles nicely to Evans. Shot for goal by Evans. Road to the point of the square. Kernahan in front, holds the mark.
The way he covers that ground, very deceptive. Kick almost straight. He's collided there with...
The eyes of football supporters everywhere then turned to Perth for the conclusion of round 1 at Subiaco Oval. 32,000 fans turned out to see the home team, the West Coast Eagles, take on the Richmond Tigers.
He can run right in if he likes. He's going to look for someone. No one coming at him. He fires at goal. Oh, geez, dropped the mark down there. Miles and Zakaski off the ground has put it through for a goal.
Encouraged by Holmes. The head pass to Glendenning. Gets out of trouble, has the bounce. Steadies, hooks it across the ground. A poor kick. Bowers there for Richmond. Couldn't...
It was a close game throughout, and at the final siren, the Eagles chalked up their first win in VFL competition, downing Richmond by 14 points. At the end of round 1, all 3 interstate teams had scored a win, and that was just the beginning.
Can't find the handle. Socket off the ground by Winstead. Michael puts it through, and that could be the sealer. That's his 2nd goal.
Coming up, some thrillers, some thrashings, and a night to remember. Some of the lighter moments of season 87 now, as Eagles captain Ross Glendenning found there were some days when the guys just didn't feel like playing. Up, fellas, not down. It's amazing how 4 posts can get in the way on such a big ground. Even the umpires find the going gets tough when the Hawks and the Bombers do battle. Now, these guys do a lot of running, but this one, absolutely flat out. And just when you thought it was safe to go back on the ground, those darn posts get in the way again.
Long one, up towards full forward.
Warwick Capper doesn't even get a point for hitting this one. Aim for the goals, Warwick.
Right on the behind post. Well, Lee Matthews broke it.
And even if you don't get near the scoring zone too often, you can still run foul of the fence. Fitzroy skipper Matt Rendell goes right over the top at the SCG.
You can actually fall awkwardly. On replay, we see Matt Rendell coming over now. He does fall awkwardly.
But whether it's going over it or into it,
He's had just one kick, Bruce Binder.
or perhaps even trying to go through it, the fence does protect the players from the fans. Coaching a VFL team can be tough. You can almost tear your hair out at times. You can shout your lungs out at others. In fact, there are times when you think the message is through. And then you have second thoughts. You have to point out mistakes that the players are making. And sometimes you just can't believe the mistakes they're making. But like all fans, you can still be a touch one-eyed. Some players like John Annear do the latest dance craze. Others like Brett Bailey just do their block.
Bailey not too happy. Out goes the mouth guard. A few expressions.
The high-flying action of Australian rules comes down to earth with a splash in the rain, and the Bears and the Bombers went slip-sliding away. Mike Richardson loses his dignity, if not his momentum. And now Glenn Hawker, here's mud in your eye. Players all expect to have a bad day occasionally. Steve O'Dwyer had all his bad ones at once.
Even more dodgy. Oh, the hand pass even worse. Oh, and then he smothers his own man's kick. You couldn't believe it.
This is Carlton giant Justin Madden, less than sartorially elegant, but either he's been watching reruns of The Incredible Hulk, or he's a Rambo fan.
In the first round, Geelong had just scraped in against St Kilda. Now they face the Brisbane Bears at Cardinia Park, and the Bears again stunned their critics by winning with a comfortable 15-point margin.
Can't control it. Throwing himself with Banfield. Quick kick towards the full forward area. Over the back of the pack, Hardy. A quick kick. Oh, fortunately, falls in the hands of Phillips.
Disposes quickly.
The match of the day was at Windy Hill with Essendon against the West Coast Eagles, who had travelled across the Nullarbor with high hopes for their second success.
Glendinning puts it back towards their half-back position. Ball's on the ground. Chance for Clark. Goal! Not enough. He goes. Salmon's there. Get up and take it. No, it's off his hands. The Rovers. Bailey! Not a bad kick out there to Zanotti. He's been a useful player. Clark's got him, but he shrugs him off. Good play, Zanotti. He loves to run from the back line. It's a good kick on the run as well. Up to full forward. What a mark there. Bennett can't pick it up. A good steal by Brennan. Here's Malaxis again. Good play, Steve. Narkle has it now on the half-forward line. The kick. Brennan's there. Oh, he's got it. Runs into an open goal. Good play, Eagles. McNish breaks away. Oh, what a mark! Bennett!
A thriller it may have been, but for the Eagles, it was simply a bitter disappointment at their first loss.
Off his kick, there's the siren, and Essendon have won. Essendon home by 5 points.
The next day, the action was at the Sydney Cricket Ground, and the Swans thrashed Footscray by 108 points in what was to be the second of 3 massive hidings for the start of the Bulldogs' year.
And Henwood brings up his second goal. The Swans running hot at the Sydney Cricket Ground.
Kicks up into the forward pocket. Good mark. Owen on the Winmarus, fumbles it. Owen tidies up. Shot at goal by Owen. What about...
At Moorabbin, St Kilda had their first win of the new season and gave the Bears their first taste of defeat. The 50-point win was good reason for Saints' jubilation, and there was more to come.
Across to Davidson.
Sydney retained top spot on the ladder after inflicting the West Coast Eagles' second loss. This the first in front of their hometown crowd. For the Swans, Warwick Capper kicked 5 goals, bringing his tally for the 3 games played so far to 16.
Given their great victories in the first 2 rounds as Healy unloads for a long bomb and Kappa, 25.5 minutes gone. Kappa puts through his 5th.
Kicks back to Bairstow. Has he grabbed it inside the line? Over he goes, 15 metres. Outmanoeuvred by Holt. Good play, Holt. Mark fire.
Round 4 was played during Easter, and on Saturday, North Melbourne defeated Geelong by 7 points. Melbourne had a 47-point win over St Kilda, and the Eagles suffered an 87-point loss to Carlton at Princes Park, with Wayne Johnson kicking 7 goals for the Blues, while skipper Steve Kernahan contributed 6.
Caught by May Waring. The kick off the ground from Johnston's good football. Another one from Gleeson. Front position. O'Connell, but look at all the Blues. Johnston's 3rd. You bet.
Gets past Wiley, onto the left foot, in short to Johnston. Can't mark, it's over the top. Turner there, backed up. Johnston dispossesses, now he goes after it again. Gets up off the ground, now he hand passes to Dennis. Dennis to Meldrum, gets through another tackle. How does he do it? Into an open goal, and bang goes another one. Sensational football by Carlton.
The Brisbane Bears and Fitzroy met at the Gold Coast on Sunday, and the honours went to the Lions, with Barwick and Richard Osborne each putting through 7 goals. Easter Monday gave Collingwood a 10-point victory over Richmond, and after 3 demoralising defeats, Footscray pulled a huge form reversal to down Hawthorn by 41 points at Western Oval. At Windy Hill, the Bombers gave the Sydney Swans their first taste of failure for the season with a convincing 47-point margin.
Puts the ball up into the air, into the kick-off lines. Ironmonger in front, handed the ball. Goal! Clark!
Joint Brownlow medalist Greg Williams was reported for attempting to strike Leon Baker, but was given the benefit of the doubt by the tribunal and was cleared to play.
Ian Roberts over to Browning. Browning, the low stab kick. A beautiful kick to Williams. Greg Williams lines up the open goal. He stabs at goal. And what's he done with this one? He has put it through for a lovely goal.
It was too long, though, for Wallace. Taken by David Murphy.
In round 5, the Sydney Swans had little difficulty in overcoming Richmond by 20 points in a performance that staggered David Murphy and frustrated Tony Jewell.
He doesn't look a very happy man at all.
Hawthorn would have suffered their 2nd loss in as many matches when overpowered by the West Coast Eagles at Princes Park. A 12-point loss to the Hawks, a confidence builder for the Eagles.
Flourish there by O'Neill. Head first into the fence, and John O'Neill is hurt. He went head first into that cyclone wiring. Kicks hard, long and high into the kick-off lines. Million players flying high for it. Ball on the ground. Shot by Gold's gone through. It's Holmes. And the Eagles have got a goal, and they're going to win this game.
The Bears brought up their first win at home against Melbourne, who found the game a costly exercise. The 4 points was bad enough, but to lose Todd Viney and Chris Connolly with knee injuries was more than they bargained for.
After the first 5 rounds, Carlton and Sydney headed the table with 16 points. Hawthorn, Geelong, Fitzroy, Essendon, Brisbane and North Melbourne came next in that order on 12 points, followed by Melbourne, the Eagles and Collingwood on 8, with Richmond, St Kilda and Footscray bringing up the rear with just 1 win. The National Panasonic Cup night grand final was played between Melbourne and Essendon at VFL Park, and it was a night to remember for the young Demons.
Open goal. The Bombers are in front by a point.
Had the ball up in their forward line, but they just can't score. But from these ball-ups, this is where a quick kick out of the pack can get it for them.
Wilson out wide to Giles. He's got a good run. Danaher tackles him. Giles to the ground. Back it comes. A left foot snap.
Bailey.
And it's through. It's Brett Bailey. He's kicked one sensational goal. And that's another one. And the stand has erupted. The Demons have taken the lead.
We better be precise, Douglas, because the seconds count now. The Dons through Clark.
The long-awaited victory was a bittersweet moment for Melbourne captain Robert Flower, who was unavailable through injury for what may well have been his only opportunity to play in a Demon Premiership side. In season 87, a look back at some of the disappointments and some of the memorable marks is just a moment away. For every team that wins a hard game, there's a team that loses. For every side that improves, one must slip back. And for every player, there are good times and the bad. In this segment, we look at the lowlights and the disappointments of 1987. And for the Tiger supporters and their Richmond coach, the year was a disappointment. There was some early promise, but the Tigers' final standing on the ladder leaves them with a giant task ahead. Collingwood has started to rebuild on what coach Lee Matthews hopes is the road back. Their emphasis on youth has been made necessary by the failure of their experienced campaigners. The plight of the Brisbane Bears was not totally unexpected, but it may only be a short-term problem. The Queenslanders are out to build quickly and will be aiming high in 88. Victoria's performances in the State of Origin contest were a mixed bag, with a loss to South Australia and a win against Western Australia. For the West Coast Eagles, their failure to perform on the Eastern Seaboard was a disappointment that cost them a finals berth in their first year in the competition. Carlton's low point of the season came from off the field, with the brilliant Peter Motley critically injured in a car accident. The club and football supporters in general were thrilled to see Motley appear at Princes Park to watch the Blues in action in round 21. North Melbourne captain Wayne Schimmelbusch is a champion in the true sense of the word, and in the fourth round of the season, Wayne equalled the club record of 300 games in a match against Geelong, and the Kangaroos beat the odds to win for their champion. At 34, Wayne Schimmelbusch was playing great football, not only winning a Victorian jumper to play against South Australia, but enjoying the additional honour of captaining his state team. 4 days later, Schimmelbusch led his team onto the SCG to engage the Swans in battle, and opposing coach Tom Hafey had the highest praise for Schimmer's talent.
I always marvelled at Wayne because captain of Victoria at 34 years of age, and if ever there's desperation personified, it's just got to be Wayne Schimmelbusch.
Wayne Schimmelbusch didn't finish the game or the season, joining the growing list of serious knee injuries. For Wayne Schimmelbusch, 1987 was a season of savage contrasts. From some of the lowlights and disappointments of the season, let's turn to one facet of this great Australian game that is enjoyed at home and around the world. High or low, sliding or diving, the marks of 87 are nothing if not spectacular. Coming up soon, some of the controversies of season 87 as we look back at history.
In round 6, the Sydney Swans were at home to Carlton under the SCG lights on Friday night, and it took one of the Swans' best efforts for them to beat the Blues by 7 points.
And a lovely mark for Gerard Healy.
Carter kicks it wide. Tony Morwood's there. 2 Carlton players. Here's danger for Carlton with Stevie Wright. Always a real goer. Up high. Can they take a mark? Over the back. Here's a chance for Barry Mitchell. A hand pass out wide. Tony Morwood stabs. It's a goal.
The real excitement of the round was reserved for Saturday when Essendon played host to Geelong at Windy Hill. Both coaches were dismayed at the result, but the fans certainly got their money's worth.
Now there's a kick by Buse. They were allowed out of that, the Cats. And Buse' kick has been marked at half-back by Duckworth. Turner on the mark. He's been reported. Well, I don't believe it. And I don't think Michael Turner can either. But he's been reported by umpire Mitchell.
Knock on from Walsh, not successful. Clark's was. Hawker couldn't gather. Christensen for the Cats. Back inboard to Hocking. Hocking towards half forward, looking for Turner. Front position again on Duckworth, and another mark for Michael Turner.
In towards centre half forward. It's through the Geelong players. Clark at the back will go straight for goal, and he bangs it through for the Bombers. And it's 2 points the difference again.
Lift them away 10 metres back, says Gary Ablett. He wants to score. He might have done more than that. No, the goal umpire has signalled a behind. Well, looked as if it hadn't crossed. Scores a level. The Bombers have the chance. A score, I'd say, would win it for them. The 230s towards the boundary line. There it is! A tie at Windy Hill.
The Brisbane Bears must have wondered about tropical downpours when they met the Eagles under the lights of the West Australian Cricket Association ground. The game was a good one despite the conditions.
Look at this. What more? Every picture tells a story.
The Swans were in top spot on the ladder when they met Hawthorn in round 7, and the home side was not short on confidence after beating Carlton. But there's no such thing as an easy game against the Hawks.
Intercepted by Williams, who gives it to Browning. It's a glorious kick from Browning. That's a great goal.
Against Eden Murphy flies. He might kick this. 55 metres, David Murphy, a brilliant kick. It's a goal. What a goal to David Murphy.
Up towards Langford, who takes a... Kicked off the ground almost by Mew. Likewise, Cordy. It comes to Hawke. Hawke tackled, loses possession, and is penalised accordingly.
Bit tough. And it's on. Oh.
Loveridge taps it wide. Good play, Loveridge. Curran puts the hand pass back to Loveridge. Out wide to Brereton. Hawthorn steady as Brereton goes to goal. And it's 1 point the lead in favour of the Hawks.
Kappa! Yes!
Harding puts it wide. Simons tackled, loses it. Platten puts it off the ground. The hand pass to Kennedy. Knocked out of his hands by Healy. Back to Williams. The ball back in the Swans forward area. Eade, a great mark. Ball player by the umpire. Mitchell picks it up. Floats the ball forward. And there's the match winner now. 8 points the margin.
Round 8 was a big one for the VFL Tribunal, with Fitzroy's Matt Rendell, Swans' Ian Bolton, Brownlow medal winner Robert DiPierdomenico, Demons' Wilson and O'Dwyer, Bulldog Williams and North's Jim Cracker, all being reported. Fitzroy continued their dominance of the Swans, bringing the Sydney side down to earth by 29 points and costing them top spot on the ladder.
Gerard Healy, a high floater. Grant Laurie and Kappa. Kappa! Oh, one of the marks of the year. Warwick Kappa up early, hung in the air and took a screamer.
The Saints celebrated a 48-point win over the West Coast Eagles.
Tremendous courage, held his ground, a gutsy effort by Grant. We'll like these conditions over there to Coghlan. Further afield, this is Rod Owen, I should say. Rod Owen onto the left foot, he fires a goal. What a great goal that was.
Yeah, happy room, Peter.
Oh, look at that.
Cuts it along, hand pass.
In round 10, North Melbourne defeated the Sydney Swans, inflicting their 3rd successive loss.
Hand passes the
Steele backing up. He goes for home. He kicks to Harris. Out he comes. Punched away. It's grabbed there by Cracker. He crashes his way through. Grabbed by Jason Love. He hooks it back. Oh, what a kick!
Spent most of the day on the interchange. He looks
At the end of round 10, Carlton were on top of the ladder with 32 points, followed by Hawthorn 4 points behind, with Sydney, West Coast and North Melbourne making up the 5, all on 24 points. Outside the 5 were Geelong on 22, then Melbourne, Fitzroy and Footscray on 20, Essendon 18, Brisbane and Collingwood 16 points, St Kilda 12 and Richmond still on 4.
Left foot snapshot.
Round 11, and Hawk forward Dermot Brereton was in fine form for the Hawks' win over North Melbourne.
What a mark by Dermot Brereton.
Kick towards centre half forward, and Brereton takes the mark. Brereton takes the mark. Beautiful football by Platt. Oh, what a mark. Dermot Brereton high up over Johnny Law, hung in the air.
The West Coast Eagles were welcome to Geelong in round 12, but they knew they were in a football match soon after.
Taps it out. Morgan having trouble getting it. Glendinning with some good play here. A gentle handball to Barish. A kick that Lockyer's lost his footing, and the mark's been plucked there by Darcy. Oh, and a couple of little biffs and clouts from both players. Darts between a couple, recovers his balance, up in the air. Linder a chance again. You beauty, Bruce.
Robert Flower got on top of Dennis Carroll.
Finds Morris.
Hawthorn defeated the Bears by 95 points in a game that would be best forgotten by Russell Morris and by Jim Edmund, suspended as a result.
Morris copped that one right on the chin. And I think Jimmy Edmund might be reported out of this.
I think he's out to it.
I just hope that Russell Morris is okay. Back to Brereton it goes.
Jason Dunstall kicked 11 goals in a triumphant return to Queensland.
Gibson now is there, but Dunstall first on the scene, kicks it off the ground, and it brings up his 6th goal.
Reynoldsson, because he is very, very quick. It's true, Bob, let's face it. Oh, silly play by Reynoldsson. That should have been taken off Stephen Reynoldsson there as he gave him a low one. It comes to Steve Reynoldsson. Oh, he's got him from behind Dermot, and see, he's not happy. Now, that is the umpire's fault. I don't care what you say. He caused...
A look back at season 87 reveals some controversy, and it's almost inevitable that the expanded 14-team competition would spark some fairly serious discussion. It was not surprising that by mid-season controversy was fairly raging about the possible entry of a team from South Australia into the competition for 1988. The general manager of the South Australian National Football League, Lee Wicker, cautiously agreed that South Australia should join if the competition was to become truly national.
VFL, who we have a great rapport with in recent times, have definitely indicated the importance of South Australia in the expanded competition, and certainly if it's to become truly national, South Australia must be considered as an important part in that whole structure.
The Chief Commissioner of the VFL, Ross Oakley, explains there are some difficulties to be overcome before South Australia could be admitted.
I would like to see South Australia with a team in the competition. I'm sure the Commission are all of one mind in that regard. But they, of course, can't come in until a licence is available, and so it's a wait-and-see job there.
People of Victoria are undecided.
Messing things around at the moment. I don't think they're keen at this stage to get into it. So it doesn't really concern me if they're not in it.
They're too slow on the field.
Right now,
because there is a player playing for Carlton from South Australia, Steve Kernahan. He runs like an old girl. He's that slow.
It'd be too early for South Australia at the moment. Give them a couple of years to settle down, then in a couple of years, when they come in, it'll be good.
And the issue was not resolved in the streets of Adelaide.
Yeah, but it gives other players a chance, to get into the league. And then you've got your best players playing for the state.
Yeah, why can't we be just as competitive as the Victorians are? For years, they've been the tops in the football. I don't see why we shouldn't be either.
No way. Why not? VFL's no good.
Well, it's a matter of survival of state footy, I think.
I'd like to see a team in there, but I'd also like to see them made
us maintain our local competition in some strength as well.
Carlton's David Rhys-Jones is never far from the spotlight, but it was difficult to foresee the uproar that would result from him being reported against the Eagles. The tribunal in Perth elected to fine Rhys-Jones $5,000 instead of incurring a suspension, an action not likely to be repeated as it upset everyone but the Carlton supporters.
And 2 more Eagles are down.
Round 13 was played in atrocious conditions as the rain tumbled down on both sides of the continent.
Fitzroy found the conditions in Perth such that the sport could have been mud wrestling against the West Coast Eagles.
So we did each other out there, Dennis.
No, it's that sort of game, isn't it? Laidley's in it again.
Footscray swamped Geelong by 39 points, and the frustrations with the conditions brought Doug Hawkins and Simon Beasley before the tribunal. Brisbane slipped further down the ladder after their game against the Bombers at wet and windy Windy Hill. And the side from the Sunshine State looked well and truly out of their depth.
Carroll has been absolutely magnificent. Have a look at that for football.
Collingwood were no match for the Swans when they met at the SCG in round 14.
At the back. Good play, Kappa. A hand pass to Cordy, and Graham Cordy into the open goal, and the Swans are back in business.
Spectators can get injured if they venture onto the playing field during a match, and on this Saturday, the Tigers made pigeon pie out of the West Coast Eagles. Hawthorn and Carlton have staged some epic clashes in recent seasons. Few have been better than this one, that saw the Hawks win by a solitary point.
He can't mark. It's at the back. Chance for Brereton around the net against Alban. A definite free kick there to Dermot Brereton.
Brereton goes for his second goal and hasn't made it. And marked right on the line by Madden.
Kicks it high towards half forward. High flyer is Ogier.
Centre half forward Murphy.
Bounce in the centre. Madden gets the tap away. He's done well in the ruck. Here's Bradley streaming through the centre. Well tackled by Tuck. Dropping the ball. Play on. Here's a chance for Carlton. Kernahan shoots for goal and puts it through.
Thompson looking down.
It wasn't so much a case of Essendon being too good for the West Coast Eagles. It was more Paul Salmon being too tall.
He was nearly unloaded by Walsh. There's Merritt. He gets it across to Salmon. Salmon onto the left foot. Fires. And Paul Salmon has...
The Giant was virtually unstoppable, kicking 10 goals.
Away goes Lewis and kicks it wide. He's found a teammate out there in David Hart.
A little chip pass over the top. Laidley crashing into him was Johnston. Laidley will get the free kick on the outer side, but he earned it.
Where's Salmon? He's not there. Over the back. Now it's a chance. Salmon on the left foot is a goal. Number 10. The snap kick by Salmon. Yes!
And it was a rare happy moment for coach Kevin Sheedy. St Kilda's 34-point win over Fitzroy was typical of their improvement in 1987. The effort was marred a little by Rod Owen being reported.
I don't have to say too much about that. Owen reported.
Winmar Lowe's by himself. Lockett can give it back to Lowe. He did. Lovely stuff. Oh, a class piece of footy.
Healy over the top to Williams.
Sydney proved that big grounds weren't really a problem when they defied the experts by beating the Bulldogs by 33 points at VFL Park.
Goal with a long one. And Kappa can't mark. He'll play on and kick a goal. Or just. No, it's touched. Oh. Sensational play by the Footscray defender. I didn't quite pick up Maloney, was it?
I think it might have been McGuinness. Having into open space, Malaxis. He's got
Rounds 16 and 17 were played over 3 weekends, and the highlights came thick and fast. In the opening matches of the round, all interest centred on the Eagles and Carlton, and the match was a classic with the Eagles winning by 3 points. And Kernahan, Rhys-Jones, Shine and Robertson were reported for the Blues, and Phil Narkle went into the umpire's notebook for the Eagles. In the second part of the split round, the Eagles hit the depths of despair, going down to the Swans by 130 points, with Sydney putting their highest ever score. In the last match of the split round, the Swans did it again. Their highest ever score, 36-20, 236, and now the first team in history to score over 200 points in consecutive matches. In round 18, Essendon fought back from their 163-point drubbing at the hands of Sydney to get within 1 point of the Blues at Princes Park.
Handball to Meldrum, who's only been on the ground a matter of a few minutes, and he kicks a goal. And the umpires see it as a free kick. It's his 13th kick for the match. Up towards half forward. Oh, spectacular mark by Kernahan. And if ever it was needed, that certainly was a captain's effort.
Blatten puts the ball off the side of the boot, goes after it again himself, and tackles too high that time against Ashenko. And Ashenko, well.
Spiral punt down towards the full forward area. Big pack into the air, almost the mark to Dunstall. Off hands, Platten, great goal.
Lockyer with the hand pass with a tap. Hart, that's a beautiful goal. Lovely goal, David Hart for his third.
That is a magnificent snap. He's kicked two of the best goals you'd see this afternoon, David Hart.
The West Coast Eagles underscored their ability at home to take the points against Hawthorn by the narrowest of margins.
Punts the ball away, but it's picked up by Green. Dribble towards goal. 2 points. McIntyre puts it straight to the arms of Keane. A beautiful kick. It's a long one. No mark. It comes back. It's a goal.
Wow. That is fitting.
At the conclusion of round 18, it appeared that the top 3 spots on the ladder were reserved, with 7 teams fighting for the remaining 2 places in the 5. Sydney held top post from Carlton with both on 56 points, and Hawthorn were in 3rd spot on 52. North Melbourne were 4 points clear of Footscray with the Roos on 44 and the Bulldogs 40 comprising the 5. Then followed Geelong on 38, the Eagles 36, Essendon 34, Melbourne and Fitzroy on 32, the Saints 28, Brisbane and Collingwood each on 20 points, and Richmond at the bottom of the pile with 16 points. Season 87 has produced some outstanding players who've put their own individual stamp on the season. Such a player is St Kilda full forward Tony Lockett.
The crowd, they got the police out in the ground. I reckon they'll stop the kids.
Well, as a century goal kicker, Pete, call this 100th goal in league football of Tony Lockett's if he kicks it.
Well, Tony Lockett coming in for goal number 100. He'll never forget. It's a goal! A great effort by the young chap.
The young full forward was recruited from Ballarat in 1983 and has had some memorable moments, but none more so than the day he kicked his 100th goal, and followed up by booting the goal that won the game for the Saints.
20 metres out, no angle to speak of. He's kicked 7, he's kicked 100, and if he can kick this, he'll equal Bill Moore's record of 101 goals for St Kilda. And Lockett has done that. He's put through goal number 8. He's now joined Bill Moore as the highest goal kicker in St Kilda's history.
Congratulations, Tony. It must have been a sensational feeling. How was the feeling lining up for that 100th? What went through your mind?
A few things went through my mind, Peter, but mainly just to make sure I kicked the goal. But it was a relief after I kicked it.
Well, what gave you the biggest thrill? Now, be honest, the 100th goal or the one just after that took the Saints to the lead?
Oh, I would have to say it wouldn't have been the same if we hadn't won the game. So I'm thrilled to get out with 2 ups. Thanks very much.
The season's 2nd century came up in the qualifying final when Warwick Kappa goaled for the Swans 12 minutes into the match. Kappa's goal was by no means a classic, but it typified the vastly improved performances of the high-flying forward at ground level. The titles of star and champion are often too easily granted to players who may not have earned the right to be considered among the ranks of the game's legends. One former player who earned every accolade and won 3 Brownlow medals in the process was Bob Skilton, who has all the qualifications necessary to nominate his star players of 1987. 1986 Brownlow medal winner Greg Williams, along with Swans rover Barry Mitchell, were seen by Bob Skilton as top ball winners responsible for putting their side into attack. The Swans' Gerard Healy's early season form would have done his medal chances a lot of good until his stress fracture injury took its toll.
Brilliantly done to Bolton. Bolton into the open goal.
Matthew Larkin has been a consistently good performer for the Roos in 1987. Richmond's rugged rover Dale Waitman was the only shining light in an otherwise dismal year for the Tigers. Bob Skilton thought the Brisbane Bears were well served by the efforts of centre man Jeff Rains, who regularly turned in strong gains. Nicky Winmar somehow slipped through the fingers of the Eagles and surprised many in the West with his starring role at St Kilda. And speaking of the best from the West, Ross Glendinning displayed not only his great skills but also exceptional leadership for the West Coast Eagles. At the goal front, Tony Lockett, St Kilda's star full forward, enjoyed a great season, kicking 117 goals. Jim Cracker has continued to be an outstanding contributor for North Melbourne. Steve Kernahan has led Carlton by example and obviously relishes the responsibility of captain. From the stable of stars at Hawthorn, the name of Dermot Brereton cannot be ignored as a player who has the ability to turn the tide of a game in a matter of moments without necessarily being best on the ground. And to top off Bob Skilton's list is Hawthorn star rover John Platten, whose form has been brilliant all season.
Platten stays at the back, but it won't reach him. Oh, great roving! Over his shoulder. Beauty.
Now we turn our attention to the remaining home and away rounds, 19 to 22. And in round 19, there were 3 notable incidents. Tony Lockett scored his 100th goal for the season against Footscray. Hawthorn's Robert De Pierdomenico was reported and received a 1-week suspension. And the Swans' winning run came to a screeching halt.
The Sydney Swans were no match for Carlton at Princes Park, allowing the Blues to avenge by 68 points their earlier defeat in Sydney.
High kick towards half forward. Great mark by Dorotich. Sensational mark by the big centre half back. Kernahan, handball wide. Rhodes a chance. Inside 50 metres. Unselfish handball. Bradley into the goal square. Sartori kicks it for the Blues.
Long kick up towards half forward. Hawke beaten by Alvin. Carter the spoil. Good gather by Hawke. Great hand pass to Morwood. 40 metres out. Great tackle by Glasgow at the last moment. Kappa, ground level. Back he goes. And kicked through by Wright. The Swans have gone till the 5-minute mark of the second term before getting their second goal. Swans have added 1-1 for the term. Carlton scoreless. This comes to Evans. What a goal by Bernie Evans! Bang, straight up the ground. That's the way to go. Kappa!
Kicks it short and kicks it to McPherson.
Footscray's final hopes were kept alive in round 20 when Steve McPherson goaled after the siren to draw with North Melbourne.
But McPherson will kick from about 45 metres out.
And the siren
is gone.
Well, Doug, we've talked about a draw.
There's 6 points the difference. 6 points the difference. North Melbourne in front. Stephen McPherson almost kicking for a place in the 5. Steve McPherson from about 45 metres kicks for goal.
What a kick!
And puts it through. A draw.
They had to make some changes after
Hawthorn were the architects of Sydney's second loss in as many matches, and the 46-point loss to the Hawks put the Sydney-siders under pressure.
Lester Smith over the top. Curran, short kick. Good one too. Paul Deere. Handball, Mew, who's run up from centre half back. Burton.
Too high for Holmes.
The competition newcomers, West Coast Eagles and Brisbane, met at Carrara, and the Eagles proved too strong for the locals, who didn't give in easily.
Got 2 to his pass. Taken away by Hardy brilliantly. Great skills by the Brownlow medalist. He straightens up and he fires, and what a brilliant goal.
Count puts the ball forward.
On to round 21, and the upset came when the Sydney Swans started well against Geelong, but again they faded and allowed the determined Cats to fight back and win the day by 9 points.
Yeah, he's a great little player, Barry Mitchell, as he brings it towards Morwood. Morwood's worrying boss. Once again, Tony Morwood grabbed there, and a hurry kick was by Marty Christensen. Brilliantly done by Browning. Oh, gee, I thought Turner was going to mark that, but a brilliant spoil was by Browning.
Christensen takes the ball away. The hand pass finds Andrew Buse. A goal coming up as Buse puts it right through the centre. Burke again gets a tap. Lindner takes it, breaks through the tackle from the centre of the ground. It's a glorious kick by Lindner. That could be a match-winning goal.
Big pack over the
Round
top
22, the last of the home and away matches, and still the top 7 ladder positions could change. The action started at the MCG with Brisbane and Richmond playing for the unwanted prize of the wooden spoon.
But he still kept it in play.
Can't quite mark. Butters up. Poole. In he goes to Waitman, who takes it away from James. Waitman looking sensational. One bounce, 30 metres out. What a great goal. The black and gold. Up towards centre half forward. Off the pack to Harris. And Bernie Harris goes for goal and kicks it.
And come the big fellows again. Down from Roach. Well played, Mitchell. Mitchell hooks for goal. And Mitchell hooks it very, very well.
Well, here's Jeff Rains after marking. This will test his accuracy, if not distance. And that's got both qualities right through the middle from 55 metres. And now Walsh for the Bears. 28 points as the Bears lead. Walsh has kicked the centre-half forward. Edmund, good reading of the good pick-up, shrugs off the tackle. Off to Judge. Standing start 35 metres, and he's further buried them. Comes in short, comes to the front. Hardy's there, gets away from Lee. Just to Micken. Down he goes from Palm. Notting for the Tigers. Oh, Lee has decked Carlson. I think the book's coming out for Mark Lee, and it's on.
Judge is out wide to Walsh. Walsh tries it short across towards Banfield. Jim Edmund takes the run of the ball out to Carlson. Carlson very quickly sends it back towards the goal square. It's through. And the Brisbane Bears have answered the best way.
Melbourne and Footscray met at the Western Oval with a spot in the 5 at stake, and the Bulldogs led at the end of every quarter.
And a beautiful kick by Foster. Magnificent kick by Foster. And the scores are level.
Royal passes towards Beasley and Williams.
Has done well. Kicked the last goal. Swings around onto the left foot. Kicks it towards centre-half forward. No mark. Lovett flips it over. Nice football by Lovett. Steins. Now a chance for White. He flips it back. Good play. And the Demons out of trouble as Sharon kicks the ball to the wing on the members' side.
A kid against a veteran. Well played by Bailey. Hooking. Oh, what a mark! A one-armer.
Ball at half forward for Footscray. Royal. Left foot shot for goal. Can it bounce through? McPherson kicks it through anyway. In front of Williams. Williams round to the left foot. Gives it back to Wilson. Wilson's shot for goal. Close. Flower. Oh, good smothering. Dean. Melbourne kick a goal through Dean.
Gains about 70 metres. Helped up by White. Dumped forward by Baxter. Beautiful. In the direction of Williams. On to McGuinness. What a great goal. And a 2-point margin, 4 goals each to quarter time. Here's Greg Healy. Out to Stretch. From near the boundary line, what a kick!
Dean, on to Bailey. Kick it yourself. On to Flower. Flower, goal number 2 coming up. There it is. The Demons back in it. Never say die spirit. Chance for Dean. Gets the handball wide. Wilson, cover yourself in glory. He goes for goal and puts it through. The Demons by 11 points.
All of Melbourne's efforts would have been in vain if Geelong were to defeat Hawthorn at Cardinia Park and grab 5th place. And the Cats led well into the final term.
Incredible goal by Paul Cats.
David Cameron, a star. Up to Lindner. Oh! Lindner's on fire. Can he kick the goal? They're 10 points in front. He kicks the long kick into no man's land. Good play, Lindner. He outpaced them all then. Good stuff. But the kick's abysmal. Billy Brown has took it well to turn around. Kick it, Bill. He's goals.
Sorry sights for Geelong as Gavin Exel comes off the grab. Little toe poke, but Burton gets it. Oh, clever play by Curran across to Buckenara, and Buckenara shoots for goal. And it's there.
Morris read it well. Clears it with a long kick down towards Lester Smith. Over the top of the pack. Dunstall. This one coming up. And it'll win the game. And it's there, and it's the Hawks by 3 points.
It could have been holding him.
Carlton, like Melbourne and Hawthorn, had to come from behind to defeat North Melbourne in yet another cliffhanger. And the result wouldn't be known until after the final siren.
50 metres. Here comes vintage Kenny Hunter. The snap towards goal. He puts it into the mouth. And Carnahan takes the mark. From behind, Phil Cracker. Down on the ground is Larkin. Gets the hand pass away. A throw from McDonald. A kick. And it's through from Love. Jason Love. He's kicked the goal. That's North Melbourne's second.
It's got a Love in the square. Kernahan. North Melbourne, that is. And every player on the mark of North Melbourne's waving. And look at the goal umpire, the concentration as Kernahan moves in. And he's put it right through the centre. And that is the mark of a champion. And Stephen Kernahan has kicked a great goal, a captain's goal.
Carlton, Hawthorn, Sydney, North Melbourne and Melbourne was the composition of the final five, finishing in that order. Geelong finished 6th, followed by Footscray. West Coast Eagles held 8th position with Essendon, St Kilda and Fitzroy in 9th, 10th and 11th spots, with Collingwood, Brisbane and Richmond making up the balance at the end of the last round of home and away matches. The finals leading up to the last Saturday in September, coming up next in season 87, A Look Back. There is always going to be confrontation in body contact sports, and this year was no exception. We started the season with 2 Brownlow medalists, and by season's end, both had been reported and rubbed out. Greg Williams was reported 3 times and rubbed out twice. David Rhys-Jones made visits to tribunals in 2 states. Melbourne's Dean Sharon and the Eagles' Laurie Keane both were reported 2 weeks running. There was that fine, and Jimmy Edmund copped the biggest suspension of the year, and the tribunal was so busy at one stage that they met on 3 nights to cope with the load. There were some reports that were best described as frivolous, and there was even an instance where one player brought charges against another for the first time in the game's history. After 22 rounds of football, the season was over for 9 clubs and thousands of supporters. But with the sensational conclusion to the home and away matches, few would argue that season 87 had not been a success. It was now left to 5 teams to complete the history of this adventurous and controversial year. On top of the table when the finals came round was Carlton with 18 wins and 4 losses. In second place, Hawthorn with 17 and 5, followed by the Sydney Swans with victories in 15 matches and 7 misses. 4th place on the ladder went to North Melbourne with a season tally of 13 wins, 8 losses and a draw. Melbourne were in the finals for the first time since their 64 grand final win, filling 5th spot with a win-loss ratio of 12 and 10. The series opened with the qualifying final at VFL Park between the Swans and Hawthorn, and Sydney were humiliated to the tune of 99 points.
It's a lovely looking kick. It's a great goal.
Now, Kappa, a big chance here on Langford. Oh, dear. Oh, what a mark. Oh.
Karen elects to go long towards half forward. Brereton, a beautiful mark.
Magnificent little chip pass out wide allows Dippy Domenico to run after it. Oh, clever skills by Dippy. He runs to 50 metres. He fires. Dunstall, butts.
Now gives the hand pass out wide where Buckenara accepts it. Goes forward looking for Dunstall. And a great mark taken there by Dunstall. Carroll's at full back as Brereton hand passes back towards Buckenara. Hooked over the shoulder. A beautiful goal, Buckenara.
Morris loses it to Bays. And there's the siren. A brilliant victory this at VFL Park. There's a disconsolate look of Neil Cordy, but the Hawks have shown they are definite premiership material.
The MCG was the venue the following day for the elimination final between North Melbourne and the Demons. If Hawthorn humiliated the Swans, Melbourne totally destroyed the Roos with a brilliant performance that saw the Demons' favourite son, Robbie Flower, in his first finals appearance.
Sets it up for someone to take a big mark, and there it is, Robbie Flower, the idol of the Melbourne members stand. McCann tries to fist it away, but here comes David Williams and kicks from 40 metres, a beautiful dot punt for a goal.
Tackle, got the hand pass into Hughes, who floats it up towards the forward area. Melbourne in the van, it's a mark for mine.
Ricky Jackson to Spalding. Spalding burst out of the centre, a wobbly kick though. It's marked by Warren Dean. Dean onto the left foot, fires a goal. What a ripper goal that was.
Up towards the square for Melbourne. Tapped away. Law gets the hand pass in. Mossop tried to get boot to ball. Picked up by Flower. Snapped towards goal. It's a great goal. He steadies, puts the left foot forward. No mark down there by Campbell, but Williams into the open goal. Melbourne further in front. Over the back, Dean. Eisholt couldn't quite take it. Ricky Jackson tries to keep it in play. Does so with a hand pass. Campbell snaps towards goal. Melbourne can do no wrong.
If he kicks it, oh, he's hooked it. Now it starts to float back, but there's the siren. There's the siren to end a sensational victory this by the Melbourne side. They're going to be a real force in this year's finals.
The second semi-final brought together the heavyweights of the VFL, Carlton and Hawthorn, to decide which team would go straight to the grand final. Hawthorn started well, leading by 12 points at the end of the first quarter and increasing the margin to 15 points by half-time. But Carlton were not out of the fight. They outscored the Hawks in the third term to turn the deficit into a 9-point margin going into the final term. And at the end of the day, it was the Blues by 15 points, and yet another grand final appearance was assured.
Good play, still got it tuck. Out to Platten. Platten brilliantly hooks it back. Oh, marked by Silvani right in the line.
And that leaves Hunter at centre-half forward.
Well, here's Nayley. Oh, brilliantly done by Mark Nayley. Gets onto the left foot. Oh, terrific smother by Ayres. But Nayley kicks it to Gleeson. They're betting on them getting a goal here after all that attacking by Carlton. Oh, that's 15 metres against Reece Jones.
That is stupid.
Attacked by Paul Deere. Oh, Cheeky slipped in. Narrow chance for Evans. Oh, great play, Greg Deere. Tremendous play towards the pocket. Dunstall in front. Tremendous use of the body. Is a chance for Kennedy. A hand pass to Brereton. Now, is that a goal? I think it is. Platten.
Satori couldn't take it. Hunter comes through a beautiful blind turn. A nice hand pass to Evans, who goes goalwards. Evans kick bounces in the square, runs the right way. It's a great goal. And give away a goal to the opposition.
Oh, that's
Wayne Johnson snaps towards goal. It's hooking back, and the goal umpire indicates it's an excellent goal.
To Bernie Evans. Evans to Kernahan. He leads out in front of Langford. They have played pretty well in this quarter, the Blues. There's the kick by Steve Kernahan. A beautiful goal. Fantastic finals player, Gary Ayres. There's Nayley, who's been a great player. He's goal, has he? Yes, it's a goal to the Blues.
Not far enough for a mark, so the players just punch the ball on. The short kick comes out. Buckenara takes it. There's the siren. Carlton running out winners by 15 points.
First-year South Australian recruit rover Mark Nayley was best on the ground for Carlton with a scintillating performance, and he was a happy man in the dressing room after the game.
I set my goal at the start of the year to win a premiership with Carlton. One more game away, and hopefully we'll do it. Or we will do it. I know that after today's performance, we will do it for sure.
The first semi-final was played at the MCG on Sunday, with Melbourne hopeful of continuing their dream run and the Swans desperately needing to salvage some prize. The Swans started well enough for their fans to think they had turned the corner. A 5-point lead to Sydney at quarter time, but it was to be a fleeting glimpse of the form that the side had displayed during the season. The Demons swarmed over the top of the Swans in the second term with good old-fashioned guts and determination to see the lead change to a 31-point margin in Melbourne's favour at the long break. It only got worse for the Swans, 10 goals down at half-time and another humiliation at the final siren. The Demons into the preliminary final after trouncing the Sydney side by 76 points.
Showing them more aggression and more desire for the ball, and that's a lovely mark by Viney. No one on it. He gives it across to Flower. A goal coming up as Melbourne put the ball forward.
Kick, a 70-metre kick. The Flyers are there. Here's a chance for a goal. Flower! And it's a goal.
Tony Morwood couldn't take it, but tapped the ball on. Barry Mitchell coming forward. Caught one too high.
Ironmonger and O'Dwyer. Oh, brilliant play, Healy. This might get the Swans going. That is brilliant football. Oh, he didn't get the bounce, but he picks it up again. He hooks it back. That's great play, Healy. Is it a goal? I think it is. What a great pick. Looking for big Jim Steins. He flies, he marks. He plays on, he's kicked. Neil Cordy has it punched away. Campbell still got it. Off the ground, goal. Tremendous goal. He's got the bounce of it. He hooks it back. It bounces. Sean White. Oh, brilliant diving attempt by Sean White.
Puts it up towards the forward area. Off the hands of the pack. Melbourne's there. Final siren as Robert Flower comes off the ground. Well done again, Robert Flower, John Northey and the Melbourne Football Club.
VFL Park at Waverley was the venue for the preliminary final when the Cinderella side of 87, Melbourne, would dare to challenge the reigning champions Hawthorn for the right to play Carlton for the flag. Hawthorn were obvious favourites to win, but the hearts of thousands of Australians were with the young Demon Tyros as they dared to achieve the impossible. The preliminary final is destined to be a game that will long be remembered by Demon fans. In the final minutes, both sides would have the chance to seal the game, and the pressure on the players was immense. Someone would have to be bitterly disappointed in a game in which the winner would hit the front for the first time after the final siren had sounded.
Stretch taps the ball forward, got a bad bounce. Brett Bailey's there, the hand pass to Healy, back to Viney. Viney on the stretch, Great effort by Melbourne as the long kick comes out of the forward line. It bounces awkwardly for Brereton this time. Dean takes it, breaks the tackle. Warren Dean goes short across the ground. Wilson couldn't take it. Yates has got the man there. Beautifully smothered by Tuck. In comes Michael Tuck's there, trying to tap the ball out. Does so, and we find Langford. So too White. Both players showing the tremendous courage, and it's over the line for a throw-in on Melbourne's half-forward line. 67 to 75, 8 points the margin.
Well, at the moment, you'd have to favour Melbourne or Brian Wilson. This is bad news. He's hurt himself badly. Even if they win today, they're going to have some injuries for next week. Wilson, Flower, and if they have to go into against Carlton without those two, and what a task. Look at Brian Wilson. He's hurt his shoulder badly, I would say. 8 points the difference. 23 minutes gone. Final corner. White to Langford. Chris Langford. A hurried kick. Newport, hooked out, almost a throw to Kennedy to Curran, over the back, Platten, grabbed by Jimmy Steins, and a long kick, that's the way to play it. Dermot Abbott has been a fantastic player in this quarter. Over to Langford, Morris, Spalding, they're putting in their guts. Morris, over to Paul Deere, it's Jenke, Buckenara's marked 30 metres from goal, and we must remember Buckenara is one of the best kicks for goal in league football. If he kicks his goal, they will be 2 points down. Gary Buckenara, he kicks. Hit the post. What else are we going to see today, Bob?
Well, if ever a side is meant to win a game of football, maybe it's Melbourne, as they lead by 7 points. Danny Hughes brings the ball back. It's a good long kick. Punch down the ground. Newport takes it, puts it towards centre wing. Warren Dean gets it, does it, loses possession. Coming through was Russo. He too loses it. Viney's tackled. Which way will it go? Bounce of the ball, says the umpire, on centre wing. Approaching the 25-minute mark. Melbourne lead by 7 points.
Gee, they've had their chances, the Hawks, Bob. They really couldn't get that goal to get within a couple of points, but boy, it's been a big-hearted effort. There's Jackson. Look at the pace of Jackson. He runs, he sprints, he bounces. This is magnificent football. This will be the winning goal, I think. Yates, into the open goal goes Graham Yates. He's hooked it. He's missed. Oh, boy, Hawthorn live again.
First one side, then the other, with points on the board from what looked like certain goals. But nonetheless, Hawthorn still need at least 2 scoring shots. Michael Tuck prepares to bring the ball back into play. Into time on by nearly 30 seconds. Abbott was up, tapped on again. Yes is in there. Melbourne tapped the ball out. Russo with a hand pass out wide. It's a free kick off Melbourne. Call play on by the umpire. How he missed that, I do not know. Punched away. Spalding couldn't take it. Picked up in the centre by Stretch. Stretch forces the ball forward. It's picked up by Warren Dean. He's got a loose man out there in Yates. So too Healy. Healy shepherded by Yates. A good piece of play. And Greg Healy from 50 metres out. Down towards the square. Can it be taken from Melbourne? Yes! Eichhold takes the mark. Simon Eichhold with the chance of sewing the game up for Melbourne. From behind on replay, Eichhold takes a lovely mark. Eichhold spent most of the day on the interchange, has the chance of being the hero. They lead by 8 points at the moment. A goal would probably seal the game. 26.5 minutes have gone. Look at the pressure on young Simon Eichhold, the boy from Ormond, 20 years of age. Simon Eichhold, it's 1 point, he's hooked it. Look at the pressure on those players.
Well, I think, Bobby, nearly 2 minutes gone in time on. Can the Hawks come back? A goal and make a goal now to Hawthorn, and this is going to be a sensational finish. I think the time might run out for them, though, as the clock ticks away. Curran, great courage. Off the ground. Here comes Langford. Here's their chance. Green and Platten. Russell Green. He's got it. Morris. Handball. Platten.
In he goes. The ball comes loose. Paul Deere, handball, goal. Buckenara, and the Hawks are in it.
Buckenara's fourth goal, and the margin between the sides, 3 points. Only one kick in this game. Whoever gets it out of the centre, what a piece of football it'll be. 27 and a half minutes have gone on replay. Over the top it comes from Paul Deere to Buckenara, and it's a 3-point margin between the sides.
The time clock is nearly at the 28-minute mark. There only would be about a minute to go, I would think. The difference, 3 points in favour of Melbourne. Can the Hawks, it would be a sensational victory for them because they've shown enormous courage. Oh, smothered away from Schwab. Greg Healy, the half-forward. Brereton, Campbell gets away. He kicks, he misses. So Hawthorn live again.
But from a Melbourne point of view, Pete, it's at the right end of the ground. Hawthorn have to come all the way down the ground. 28 and a half minutes have gone. Alan Jeans has a close look at the situation. The long kick taken by Swab, plays on. Langford comes out with the ball, drives it down. Buckenara, trip. Buckenara's free kick. Siren sounds. There's the siren, and he's got a kick from 55 metres out. I don't think they...
It's 15 metres! 15! What pressure on Gary Buckenara. He is a champion. He is a great kick. If he kicks this goal, Hawthorn are in the grand final.
The umpires haven't heard it yet, I don't think.
If he kicks this goal, Hawthorn are in the 1987 grand final. If he misses, Melbourne are in. There's the kick. It's a goal. It's a goal. Hawthorn have won with a kick after the siren. What a performance. A magnificent performance this by Hawthorn. Poor old Melbourne. You've got to, the hearts go out to the Melbourne Football Club. Stephen Stretch can't believe it, but there's the character. That was a courageous win, that by Hawthorn. They were down and out, Bob.
And so it is that the VFL Grand Final of 1987 will be the classic confrontation of the heavyweights Hawthorn and Carlton, two sides that richly deserve the honour of drawing the final curtain on this historic season of change. With an exciting series of finals behind us, the stage was set for two of the best teams in modern football to contest the VFL Grand Final of '87. Hawthorn and Carlton were to meet for the second successive year, with Hawthorn aiming at back-to-back flags and Carlton's sights set on their first premiership under coach Robert Walls. Let's enjoy now some of the highlights of the 1987 Speedo VFL Grand Final.
Can play in many, many positions and is a top kick for goal normally, Wayne Johnson. There's the drop punt, it floats, and it's a goal.
Awkward bounce. DiPierdomenico crashes his way through, and again down he goes. Forearm from Johnston, and Dipper's laid out.
Should be reported.
Oh.
Schwab, caught, just gets in the hand pass. Grabbed by Johnston. Johnston from 40 metres fires a goal. Brilliant play by the centreman.
Now it's Curran.
Well, as you can see on the screen, there's a really on-behind play. That was Ian Aiken, the young fella, number 22.
Drives around the southern stand wing.
This is almost to the wing. There's the lovely mark. They missed out in the last time they played Carlton up there. There's Jenke to Brereton. Oh, good mark by the champion centre-half forward.
He spears a pass towards Hunter.
At centre-half back, that was very, very foolish football by the Hawks, and they are not playing well, particularly up forward.
3-5 to 2 points. This is DiPierdomenico running towards the 50-metre line. Not a good kick. It favours Rhys Jones. He slipped over. Brereton's got a chance. Oh, they crash into him. Johnston was first to arrive. And plays on by Hander Collins, who runs up through the middle and kicks towards half-forward. Good kick, too, into the path of Kennedy. He's inside 50 now, John Kennedy. Pulls it down towards full forward. Gives the gun. He touch it. He claims he did. No, he didn't.
Didn't really take possession, did he?
No, it was very clever. Johnny Platten, 30 metres out directly in front. A high floater. It's very close. In fact, it is a goal.
Now DiPierdomenico lining up.
I just wonder if Carlton are starting to give a few late tackles. There's DiPierdomenico, the floating kick. It comes back. It's a goal.
Russo saw it brilliantly. Men drop back behind the Carlton line. Kennedy's taken the mark.
Oh,
and
it's
going to be
15.
played.
It's got to be 15.
Kernahan, a hurry kick, looking for Kenny Hunter. He's got it. A lovely hand pass from Hunter to Bradley. This is a goal coming up. Goal. Over to Wayne Johnston, a beautiful hand pass to Shane Robertson. Robertson runs to half forward, a daisy cutter pass, a ripper pass that was to a leading John Dorotic.
Johnston swings it back towards centre half forward. DiPiero Domenico goes back with courage and knocked away down there nicely by Dennis. He was out of position to take the mark. It's punted in the opposite pocket by Ayres. Dorotic about 15 metres out kicks a goal.
So there's going to be some very tired players. Play on, said the umpire, as it's young Collins again. Good play by the young fella. Off he comes. That's 85 degrees Fahrenheit, in fact. And a lovely mark to Buckenara.
Glasgow looks as though he's got Platten, and virtually both sides without one wingman, but this wingman is playing a ripper.
To Dean. Dean, the high kick back towards centre field. DiPiero Domenico, what a star he's been. Edged out of the contest, behind a chance for Meldrum. One bounce, the speedster's away, pulls it back, intended for Hunter. And Hunter drifting in, ghosting in behind the packet. He's away, swings it down towards half forward. What a good kick. Curran in best position, great mark.
Beautiful play. Morris has done his knee again. There's Kernahan. Can he grab it? The Carlton captain picks it up. Goals! Off he goes, and he kicks it to half forward. Gary Buckenara's got it. He wants to give a hand pass. There's no one there, so he ducks away and kicks it out to Brereton. Reach Jones, Brereton, a beautiful mark. Didn't know anyone could reach up that high to Justin Madden's shoulders as it comes towards half-back, the sun in the eyes, I think. Oh, kick by Langford. Oh, here's a chance. Curran. Oh, boy, luck's a fortune. Chris Langford's kicked it in the air, Bobby, and it's fallen into the hands of Peter Curran.
Maley emerges with the ball. Beautiful kick into the path of Hunter. Couldn't quite get there. It beat him by half a stride. Down he goes. Dorotic is there. Abbott came out and upended Hunter.
Oh, good play, Meldrum. Too good. Beautifully done. Hooks it back magnificently to Kernahan.
Down goes Alvin. It bounced obligingly out there for Curran. Gets it across to support. Scrambled forward around the outer side by Russo. Grabbed by Green. High kick down towards full forward. Behind it's knocked away by Aitken. In goes Tuck. Tuck's over the ball. Clever hand pass. In the square. Kennedy goal.
Now Bradley and young Pritchard. Bradley knocks it on. Great pace, Bradley. He straightens up. He fires. It comes back. The Hawthorn defenders try and get away with it. Beautiful play, Dorotic. Oh, gee, the bounce to Meldrum. This is a goal. Yes!
Hawthorn have got the numbers. Over the ball is Tuck. He's got some time. 55 metres out from goal. Long kick. Silvani is down there. Reece Jones has had a wonderful match. He got back in the nick of time and knocked the ball against the post. Yes, here's Brett Deer then. Long left foot kick. That's a bomb. He's put it through.
We apologise.
Hand pass comes out then from Pritchard. Back comes Robertson. Robertson scrambles a kick to Bradley. Bradley feigns the hand pass, stabs Goldwood, puts it through.
Here they come again, the Blues. This time through Robertson towards half forward. It's a good mark taken by Naley. That was a ripper. It was a great mark on Peter Russo. The big fist is away. Here's a goal coming up to the Blues. Into the open goal goes Gleeson, and it's a goal.
Meldrum is down there, knocked away, but again, no ground support. Naley just runs away from three Hawthorn players. He's going goalward, Mark Naley. He's put it through.
Half forward, here they come again, the Blues. Kernahan now gets into the action. He kicks a goal, is it another one? Yes, goal.
Turns around, kicks it across his body. Socket out of midair by Deer. Is that a mark? I think it'll be paid. Yes, it will be to Carlton. Strong mark taken as the ball came out on the rebound.
Kernahan's opponent, and that is Chris Langford. Who knows what the score would be?
Official attendance, 92,754 as Pritchard shoots a goal, and the young fella has kicked it.
Clever across towards Dennis. What a dream for him. Superb stuff on the cricket pitch area. Goes down towards the pocket. Awkward bounce. They've got the numbers down there. And now a chance for Fraser Murphy. Breaks away, goes goalward, and gets it.
Well, they're really showing the difference between last year and this year. Carlton, a far better side.
Up towards centre wing. Goes over the top to Kennedy. Kennedy down towards half forward, back to Collins. Collins with dash inside 50. Can he kick a goal, the young fella? No, he's missed, I fancy. Or has he? No, he's got it. He snuck it in.
And at the end of this historic year of VFL football, when the game has undergone enormous change, we see Carlton being written into the record books as VFL premiers of 1987. This has been the year when the Australian game expanded its horizons, with the West Coast Eagles and Brisbane Bears joining the revitalised VFL competition. 87 will be remembered as the year of full forward St Kilda's Tony Lockett won the Brownlow medal for the first time. It was a season that saw two full forwards kick in excess of 100 goals. Melbourne's surge to contest the finals will long be remembered, as will their courageous captain Robert Flower, who bows out of the game. 1987, memorable, historic, exciting and over, except for the celebrations, of course, for a win. Roll on 1988, our bicentennial year. We're ready for you. Thanks for your company throughout the season. From all at the VFL Sports Centre, goodbye for now.